Hello everyone, I am here to talk a little bit about disability rights. And talking about disability rights, we just as may well talk about rights in general as is in the state of this world today. I will talk about my child specifically, diagnosed with autism at age 9. Now, some people like to generalize. This is new. It may be associated with an IP matrix, but levels of autism. So in generalization, just as I spoke about generalization and the efficiency map of the world, let's write off, right? Anyways, so level 1. Level 1 needs these supports. Generalize this, nothing, basically, good to go. 2, 3, 4. Well, that is not the case, because I can tell you that having a son diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome per DSM-4, that would be classified as level 1 or mild, but the types of supports that are needed could be a level 4, could be level 2, could be level 3. Regardless, we barely made it to that point because he was not granted an IEP plan until he was in 11th grade. 11th grade. The whole reason I went back to school to get my master's degree was to learn his rights, laws, etc. as applied to special education. So finally, it happened. His disability was not said to be autism, but other health impaired. Okay. Anyways, 11th grade. So that finally happened. So this child, this young man who's now almost 24 years old is genius. A beautiful, beautiful mind. Just as most kids like him are. One second. Here comes Pluto. Say hi. Hi, Pluto. Okay. Right. So he was in AP classes. He's highly intelligent. So he took his first AP exams in 10th grade, and he did not do well because all of it had to be handwritten, these very long essay questions. And due to his disability, his handwriting ability was affected. And holding a pencil, squeezing it for long periods of time caused pain. The same thing happens with his feet, even though he was a typically developing young boy jumping and running without need of total foot reconstruction until, well, after 9 years of age. Anyways, so the College Board is responsible for allowing accommodations for testing. So the College Board is over SAT exams and AP exams, which are advanced placement exams. So through his school, we applied to say that he needed this accommodation. He needed word processing. Now let's look at this. This is 2018, and we're talking about word processing. Okay, in this day and age, which is a mere 6 years later, CAST, assistive technology, everyone says, oh, the kids don't need to learn to write. They can have word processing accommodations. They don't need to learn to write. I'm not sure about you, but back in history, whenever people came over to the United States and they were not able to write, let's say, for example, that they were French speaking, even though the British English were only in those other little 13 colonies. But at that point, if they could not write their name in the proposed language, they would put an X, right? And they were called illiterate. Okay, so now that's all okay. It doesn't matter. You don't need to learn to write, kids. Let's just type whatever. Anyone who wants to do a longitudinal study and follow this like now down the road, see what happens. That'd be a great thesis topic. Okay, so the College Board submit evidence for accommodations to type essay questions. First try, refused. Okay, again, submit again. Second try, refused. I mean, what else do you need, right? Okay. Submit again. Third try. Refuse. It's like, what? So, we are on our fourth and final, last one we could submit, application to allow word processing, which means typing on essay questions for the AP exam. Yes? Yes. So, if this one was not approved, then I was going to Washington, D.C. because I had to talk to someone about what was going on. Well, this one was approved. So, freshman year, he did not fare so well on his AP exams. But his junior year and senior year, by being able to type due to a disability, okay, a disability, a true disability. Wow, his AP scores, computer science, the first time he took it, right? He made a 4. A 4. 5's possible. Very students make a 4 in anything. And he tells me, I don't know why anyone thinks that this is so difficult. Anyway, that's how the world works. Maybe it was AI in making some of those decisions, because I do see how AI is affecting all of the world. If anything, communication is inhibited. People, companies, they have no control over all of the little feelers that are representing under their name and trying to enforce or share information. I can say this from having experience with a national mortgage company. It's said to be under the government, but it's not. Wow. LexisNexis. Here comes Pluto. Sorry. Hey, baby. Get down. It's AI law. So basically, sorry about that. Your local clerk of court can get notice, right, from this mortgage company, and they can, in less than 24 hours, send out notices. Guess what? No one comes to your door to sign anything. No one delivers anything. You're lucky if you get something in your mailbox, but today's community mailboxes mean you do not have a mailbox in front of your home. But yes, and that is not in accordance with law, because there are actual waiting periods. So let's say, for example, take this same scenario, is you look at something that's happening, right, with your personal business, and it says this thing. You receive a packet in the mail, it says this thing. You receive a phone call, it's something totally different. So people, why not get all this together? Because this world is failing, okay? Failing. Now, when your child has an IEP plan or a 504 plan, that does not go with them whenever they go into the higher education system, okay? But if a college is funded with federal funds, they must follow ADA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act. So I tried looking to find more specifics before doing this today. I've looked, I guarantee you, over the past years. Just like, for example, people write research articles, right? As of 2018, these were supposed to be peer-reviewed, or often called refereed articles, which means that people with credentials, now what are credentials anymore, had to review it before it was published for release. I've recently found out that there are actually a collection of individuals that their goal is to, or they say that they have the ability to retract articles. Whoever gave them that governmental or governing capacity, I do not know, because think about it. If someone says it, they're the almighty powerful and we can retract these articles, well, they can pretty much retract whatever they want. Does that mean that that article was false? No. It's for our personal agenda. So, I could not find anything specific, but I can tell you this, that most children with disabilities, and specifically I am speaking on behalf of those with high functioning autism, or as my child was diagnosed with Asperger syndrome per DSM-4, Hans Asperger. I'm sure people have heard about him. Language disorder. Anyway, so he goes on to college, right? And like I said, the public college, ADA, so they have to offer certain accommodations to students. Here's some examples. Extended time. So they may need more time to complete assignments and tests. Note-taking assistance. They may need help taking notes during lectures. So a lecture would be a professor delivering a lecture to their students in person, because some may need, for example, writing, if writing's a challenge, a person to take notes on their behalf physically. Okay, another one, accessible materials. Okay, well, accessible materials, let me think about that for a second. Audiobooks, screen readers, caption videos, that would more so apply to children with deaf and hard of hearing. Yes, because English language learning is not a disability. Okay, flexible attendance. So they could attend classes remotely, or at times that work best for them in person. And party registration. That's another good one, because my son, who's still going at it despite all, is about to go and enroll in school with over 70,000 students. And truthfully, that's quite scary. So I truly hope all goes well and this priority registration does happen. Otherwise, that's another problem, right? Not for me, someone else. Alternate testing locations. Does that mean their personal bedroom? Likely not. Anyway, so the students can request these accommodations with evidence of their disability through, let's say, some colleges will call it, or universities, whatever, student accessibility resources. So they provide regular check-ins, like the students have to go check in. A lot of kids with disability or young adults have challenges with executive functioning. Some may debate me on this, but I call it secretarial skills. And truly, until my child had an IEP plan, that's what I was. I was the intermediary between teachers. And I'm talking when there were 7, 8 classes a semester, that was me. Having to go in between, but still that was not sufficient, because nothing other than a person there could provide that and aid with communication. And when he was granted an IEP plan in 11th grade, he had a one-on-one aide who did just that. And he soared. His last year, his senior year, all of his classes were AP classes or dual enrollment, meaning through the local community college. So the story continues. Hurricane Michael, October 2018, tragic event. All of my children made it through it. They did it. We moved on. My oldest son graduated from high school May 2019. And off he goes. He made the announcement that he chose to go away to school, leaving home, rather than going locally. And research supports that students with disabilities who do go away from home, so that they're not commuting to home to school, average GPAs over 3.6, whereas a child who commutes from home to school on a daily basis, if I recall, it may be an average GPA of like 2.4. So he made that bold decision. In his first semester, he did beautifully. He had a check-in with student SAR services, right? All kinds of things, because that's a service that is offered to students with disabilities. He did very well. Excuse me. Dean's List, 3.7 GPA. Okay? That was the fall of 2019. Next, spring of 2020. So, there he goes. He goes right back. He is kicking it. He's doing it. He's doing great. And he's on the same path that he had just where he finished. And guess what? Oh no! May 2020. It's a pandemic. So guess what happens? Now, my two children who are still in high school here, they went to school every day. My child in college was sent home. Were his rights violated? That's still in question. And this is what I'm saying. I could not find specific research on, because everything says it's open source, it's free. But if you want to find the good stuff, then it's like you need to log in with your university credentials, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I'm no longer associated with a university, and quite truthfully, everything that's open source is BS. Anyway, let's continue. Spring 2020, half semester there, other half sent home. Well, I believe there were 8 calculus classes going on in person at that university before the pandemic hit, and every student by the end of the semester failed, including my son. So his GPA, luckily midway he was good. He was in good standing. So now he's home. Okay, fall 2020. Here we go again. All online. That is a violation of ADA. Absolutely. What accommodations are you getting when you are stuck in a bedroom from home? 0. Okay, so here we go. Fall 2020. That semester. At the end, academic probation. Oh no. Okay, here we go. Next semester. Spring 2021. Same deal. Online. At the end of that semester, academic suspension. So this child who persevered through everything despite not receiving what he needed until his last year in high school, right? He went away to college. He kicked butt. Absolutely. Well, academic suspension. From a 3.7 with enough credits to have an AA to a 1 point something, meaning no university would accept him. How did he feel? Well, his life was shattered. So me as his parent, my job was to build him back up, right? Explain why he did what he could. This wasn't his fault, and we have to keep going and going. Well, you're supposed to have transportation per ADA, correct? Because he needed to go back to school in person, and there is a local college, community college here. Well, guess what? I drove him for 2 years to rebuild his confidence. I'm not compensated for that, by the way. And note to the mortgage company, that would be considered a hardship. Among the hurricane, the pandemic, yes, this disability. My grandmother died a week after that. Death. Didn't matter. Okay, whatever. Anyways, so this was the process, right? Until now, he's finally on the verge of being able to go back to a 4-year university. This outstanding young man, and I am petrified because I highly doubt And he's doing all of his paperwork. He lives with his younger sister, who is able to transport him, things like that. And he's still in it, almost 24 years old in May, has not given up. Do I have faith in the systems and the colleges? No. But I do have faith in him. So, in conclusion, ADA. Well, I hear that politicians want to do away with the Department of Education. Idea. Federal law. ADA. Federal law. LexisNexis. No. College Board. Private entity. Penny Mac. Look up 2008 financial crisis. Any Macs. Macs. Probably are sort of private already. So, current administration, future administration, it doesn't matter. I didn't vote because I wanted to stay neutral, and quite frankly, I don't like either of them. I realize that, right? But, yes, this is where we are today. So, oh, one more thing. Now, we're talking also about, let's say that your amazing child graduates from college, as they should have a long time ago. Let's say they do, which they will, despite whatever. Employability. The World Economic Forum just had this big meeting on neurodiversity. That term needs to disappear. It's insulting and it's stupid. Okay? But from Ernst & Young, hello Big Four, this representative said, we spoke to 17 of the largest employers in the world, and they spoke about their 300 employees. True story. Okay, let's end with the laugh. Maybe it shouldn't be, but ADA, okay? So, physical or mental impairments. For example, substance abuse, gambling, kleptomania, pyromania, pedophilia, sexual disorder, and transsexualism. Those are a few examples. These can be disabilities covered by the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. On that note, signing off. Have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow. Good weekend. Whatever. Hang in there, guys. We're going.